Whatever you had in there before was still in there.
Probably. Okay, I gotta get my head in the game.
Don't be nervous, Devin. Don't be nervous.
You know the numbers here?
Starts at 6.
6. Number 6.
So there's a resolution on the consent.
There is, yeah.
Yes.
That's number
6.
5. We
Does it have
assigned
a
that
number
one the
yet?
other day.
Did we assign it? All right,
Probably
here we
should have
go.
said that on here.
Good morning. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners and invite you all to rise for an invocation by Joe Garkovich with Mercy Today Ministries, and stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for another day in which to serve you. As this group gathers together this morning to do this important work, we pray that you would grant them courage and compassion and wisdom to make the right decisions for all that are involved. And we also lift up today all of our county employees, that you would watch over them and guide them in all that they do in the performance of their duties this day. And all these prayers we send to you in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Simpleman.
Present.
We move next to the approval of today's agenda. I know of no changes that we need to make.
Nor do I, Madam Chair. I move to approve the agenda. Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Any discussion? Let's do roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to the consent agenda for today. I will make the note we are not scheduling a public hearing out into the future on today's agenda. We always like to warn you when those are coming up, and we have none of those to discuss today.
Madam Chair, I would move that we approve the consent agenda, which includes resolution number 5 for the special review use permit for Equiland LLC from our last meeting.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to administrative and informational topics. We begin with staff and elected officials. We have with us this morning Fremont County Treasurer Kathy Elliott. She is here for a semi-annual public trustee quarterly report, and that's a mouthful in itself. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
Good morning. As far as the semi-annual report, bottom line looks really good. That is, though, including the ARPA money, so it's looks really good.
A lot of money has come in, and little of that has gone out to
Correct.
date. So,
Correct.
Yes.
One thing to note is 4-mile metro districts, 2, 3, and I believe 4 is back in operation. We just received word that balance will go away. They have finally corrected their issues with the state and have restarted their group. So those monies should be going away this in February.
Okay, any questions for Kathy on this semi-annual report?
None from me.
No.
Can we have a motion on this half, please?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the Public Treasurer's semi-annual quarter report.
Just the semi-annual.
Or the semi-annual report, yeah, sorry. Public Trustee.
Not quite the
But
mouthful.
we'll get there in a moment.
Yeah, I was just reading. Should have been thinking instead of reading.
Second, I think.
Maybe.
At least he admitted it. It has been moved and seconded to accept the semi-annual report by Kathy Elliott, our Fremont County Treasurer. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, Kathy, the Public Trustees Quarterly Report, please.
All right, so foreclosures did pick up a little bit the last quarter. We did finish the year with 17, which is amazing. We also have seen a huge increase in overbid money, which that we tried to immediately contact the property owner. If there's not property owner, if they have passed, we have to try to locate family. So that's a process in itself, but yeah, it's amazing.
How does that happen? How does that overbid happen? How does it?
For instance, a house that we had for sale last Wednesday, the starting bid was $151,000. It actually sold for $287,000 at our foreclosure to an outside bidder, and so it was actually an estate, and so I've contacted the estate already, and
Gotcha.
hopefully we can get them their overbid money. And
So how many did you say there were last year?
17.
What's the normal year?
What's a normal year?
Yeah, true.
The highest.
Let's say 19.
The highest year we had was 366.
Holy cow.
It's continually dropped the last four or 5 years. It was pretty high.
2
And then
years ago, I think, I don't remember the number
Yeah.
on that, but last year was pretty slow, and a lot of those were just individual lenders or reverse mortgages.
I know very recently, we've seen as high as 130, 140, I think 147 from a couple of years ago. So, yeah, to talk about the number 17, that also was going to be my comment, is that's amazing, and that is really good news for most of the people of Fremont County. For those 17, not such great news, but when you look at terms of numbers, that is a really good number to have.
Yes.
I think it probably has a lot to do with it's a seller's market, and so if somebody gets in trouble and they can't make their payments, it's easy to offload the property. And so things just aren't going to foreclosure as much as they
Well,
were.
a lot is attorneys' offices let a lot of their people go. So even people that were in default before COVID hit, they don't have the people to process the foreclosures now that they
Oh,
can.
so that's still a big part of it right now.
That's
with
what
the-
they're expecting the numbers to pick up this year, because
Gotcha.
they spent since August, September, rehiring staff and getting files
Gotcha,
started.
okay,
So,
okay.
All right. Anything else for Kathy? Motion?
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the quarterly report of the quarterly, semi-annual, annual.
Let's just go with the Public Trustees.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
I'm going to keep them on the straight and narrow. Okay.
The Public Trustees quarterly report.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the Public Trustees Quarterly Report. Further discussion? Roll call.
Was there a second?
There was.
He did second.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear him.
Yeah,
It was a little
the sound's
low,
not coming
maybe.
through very well today. I don't know if you can change that, Lenny.
I
I
apologize.
noticed that too, even when they're talking out there.
Okay. Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks for being here this morning.
thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Sunny Bryant, our county manager, has a county manager's report for us. Good morning, Sunny.
Good morning, thank you. Just a couple of quick updates. So in case you haven't heard yet, the construction of Pathfinder Park Event Center is finished, and so they're working out some tweaks with the technology. So we're really excited to get that property up and running. We are planning a ribbon cutting next Thursday, and so we will get all of the information out as far as the exact times of that event, but please mark that on your calendars. It's going to be in the afternoon of Thursday, February 3rd. And we have hired an event coordinator for the facility, and so if you are interested in renting out that facility, please reach out to her. Her name is Callie Macer, and she can be found on our website. All of her contact information is on our website, which is www.fremontco.com. And then we have moved the CSU Extension office out to that facility. So if you're looking for CSU Extension employees, they are located out at Pathfinder Park now. And like I said, they're working out some technology tweaks. So if you've been waiting to hear back from somebody from an email or something that you've sent, please be patient. They're trying to get all of that up and running and caught back up. So the next item is we finished the interim audit last week and are working to close out 2021. So I appreciate all the work Christine had put in on that to get that process going. And then the last thing is the commissioners, the county attorney and I had a goal setting session on the 18th. And so I'm really excited to take those items that we discussed and see how we can incorporate them and make some improvements and get that process moving. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Sunny. Up next, Sales and Use Tax Report by Christine Cowan, our Fremont County Budget and Finance Officer. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. So for our retail tax collection for November of 2021, we collected $660,429, which is about $75,000 more than the 2020. When we go to our auto use tax, the collection was $90,256. This was a $12,000 decrease from December 2020. For construction, a little bit of a decrease, $32,685 was collected. That was a $42,000 less than December of 2020. For our lodging tax, collection was $2,762. For the sheriff's retail tax collection, $440,286, an increase of over $49,000 from the same period of November 2020. Sheriff auto use tax was $60,171, a decrease of $8,502 from construction use on sheriff, $15,381, $34,500 less than December of 2020. So just the outlook, and we're not so if we take 2020 to 2021, we have an increase of almost $2 million, not including the retail sales tax for 2021, the lodging tax or the sheriff, which are reported a month behind. So overall, our retail sales tax have increased.
We've seen that increase, I think, every single month.
Yes.
Every month, either you or Sunny has stood before us and given those numbers, and it's been easy to see over the months how we are doing. So those numbers are pretty incredible.
What's interesting is the retail sales tax rep, but it looks like we've plateaued on vehicles and building for a minute. So we'll see how that rebounds.
Absolutely.
'Cause they're still-
We've known it was coming.
Yeah,
though.
eventually.
And so just a comment on the building construction use tax. So we had indicated a couple months ago that the city of Canyon City is no longer
Right.
collecting that use tax. And so I think that's why that
Could be.
number, we as the county has actually issued more building permits last year than we had in history. So each year it seems like more and more people are building that. But with the city of Canyon City no longer collecting the use tax, that has impacted those numbers.
All right, thank you, Sunny.
Point.
Anything else for Christine?
Nope.
All right, thank you so
Thank you.
much for being here this morning. Gentlemen, further information for our public this morning?
I've got a couple of things for
Yes.
me.
Go right
First, just kind of to add on what Sonny was talking about a minute ago, the ribbon cutting at Pathfinder Park. Everybody's welcome. Come out and check out the building. Come out and celebrate with us. We do have a first event scheduled there, which we'll hear a little bit about here in just a little while. But people are already wanting to have events in there, and we're learning as we go. We're still trying to get tables and chairs and plates and spoons and stuff like that, but we're working on it. So it's going to be pretty exciting. The other thing, just remember we did get a little snow and expecting some more snow, but we're still under stage 1 fire restrictions in unincorporated Fremont County. So it's still really, really dry out there. So be very careful and diligent if you're burning. Thanks.
All right. Commissioner Grantham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick note on some of the stuff going on at the state. I had the privilege of going up and participating in the Rural Voices meetings up in Denver this last week, which is kind of the conglomeration of all the rural county groups like Action 22, to which we belong, and Progressive 15 and Club 20, which covers, I think, 59 of the 64 counties in Colorado. We had some interesting discussions up there, and maybe one of the most enlightening was when the governor joined us on Zoom, and he was confronted with some of the issues that he's been dealing with over the last 2 or 3 years, and some of his appointments. And one of those appointments turned out to be and I should preface this by saying, me and my colleagues up here have I think shown our support for the agricultural industry over and over, either through our entire lives or through resolution or through whatever means we can to show that support. And the governor has had some actions over the last 3 years that have called his into question. No more so, I think, than one of his appointments to the State Veterinary Board, who was an avowed animal rights activist and who expressed her disdain for ranchers and cattlemen on a Facebook post, calling them nasty and lazy. I say all that to say this: there's a point to our airing our grievances to elected officials, including us, and including the governor, the highest elected position in Colorado, because I think as of yesterday, that person announced that she was leaving that post, and that is a good bit of news for us that we made a difference in telling the governor that we weren't okay with someone in that position saying the things she did about the very people that she was in charge of regulating, just showing her disdain and dislike for an entire industry that she was overseeing. So keep up the good work out there for the millions that are listening to this video and watching this proceeding. So
Around the world.
around the world.
Yes.
Millions watching. Can I add to that just a second?
Certainly.
So just a reminder, agriculture, a $50 billion industry in Colorado. So for it to come under attack once again, it hits close to the heart, actually. So there was a big push before she was appointed to that board to keep him from appointing her, and he ignored the people and appointed her anyway, and there's been a huge controversy ever since then, and that post is just one of the things that she's done. I'm very, very happy that she's resigned, and it's a shame that the governor wouldn't take the people of Colorado's voice and take care of it himself, but it's been done now, so we're in good shape, I hope, for now.
Well, even as recently as Thursday and Friday, he wasn't taking those voices seriously about who she was and what she said. And all this goes back to the wolf reintroduction as well. And just a whole lot of things that we have to keep our eyes on out here in rural Colorado that go on up in Denver. Decisions being made by those who have no background or interest in rural issues in agriculture, making the decisions for rural issues in agriculture.
All right, thank you for that, Commissioner Grantham. I'm going to kind of tag on to the agricultural discussion. I have the opportunity to serve through the National Association of Counties, which is NACO, to serve on the Agricultural and Rural Affairs Steering Committee. Yesterday, we had a meeting of our steering committee, and we were able to propose resolutions to be adopted by the steering committee at the upcoming meetings in Washington, D.C. next month. I proposed a policy that would urge Congress and state houses across the country to pass resolutions and/or legislation in support of the livestock, ranching, and farming industries, and to acknowledge that agriculture is one of the bedrocks of the United States economy. So I proposed the legislation. I talked at great length about why we feel the need to see this. So many things have been happening. The governor's proposed meet-out day, the PAWS Act that was before our legislature last year, which we know is going to rear its ugly head once again. And it is all taking on agriculture, livestock, ranching, farming, our very way of life here in rural Colorado. And so I had the opportunity to talk to folks yesterday from around the country, and I told them, if you are not seeing this where you live, you need to understand Colorado is a proving ground. We are the test state for some of these things, and when they go through here, they will be coming to you next. So a lively discussion followed. I think this is not going to be much of a problem to have this actually adopted at next month's legislative meetings. And for me, the most interesting thing was the chairman of that committee, when we were all said and done, I believe he's from West Virginia, he thanked me for the proposal, and he said, you need to understand this is probably the most important resolution I have ever seen at this level come through. And so that told me this is not only a problem here in Colorado, it really is a problem nationwide. And so we'll keep you up to date on that. But to the original point of Commissioner Grantham, we really are working for Fremont County people every single day. You may not always see what we're doing, but we truly are working for you. So, gentlemen, anything else? All right, it is time for citizens who wish to address the commissioners on a matter not on today's agenda. Do we have anyone in our audience today that would like to step up and speak? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We have no old business for consideration today, and we have quite a bit of new business, so let's just jump right in. Our first piece of new business is a minor subdivision, 21-008. This is the DJW subdivision request approval for a minor subdivision that will create a total of 2 lots. The subject property is located in the Agricultural Rural Zone District on R Street in Penrose. And we have with us this morning Representative Matt Koch. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are requesting a subdivision. It's a 2-lot subdivision on R Street. It's across the street from Top Rail Ranch in the Penrose area. Lot 1 will be 4.8 acres, Lot 2 will be 4.5 acres. It is serviced by the Penrose Water District. They will be using septic systems on these sites. The sites were vacant. Once we actually started, they started building a house on Lot 1, so there is a house proceeding on that lot already. And they went through the building permit process and everything for that. As far as the contingencies, the planning department is requesting us to put a note on the plat that a drainage report will be required at the time of building permit issue, and that'll be specifically for Lot 2, and then an access permit for Lot 2. And I guess on that, I'd like that to be removed because the access permit should be at the time of building permit, not at the time of platting. So that contingency, we'd like that to be removed. Other than that, if you have any questions.
Questions, gentlemen?
No.
Not at this time. All right. Let's turn to Micah Simpleman for a staff report. Good morning, Micah.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just real briefly, we did reach out to referring agencies and the Fremont County Department of Transportation. They responded back that there will need to be a access permit for Lot 2. Lot 1 does have a access permit already on record. The Fremont County project engineer on the water drainage plan and report states that the property drains from northwest to southeast at approximately 4-degree grade, meaning the north lot will drain into the southern lot, and the southern lot will drain into the 17th Street and then into the property to the south. Both a driveway and a residence is proposed for each site, but the size of the locations, both, he, I guess at that time, did not know what they were. But that at the time of his report, he would recommend approving a waiver of requirement for the stormwater drainage plan and report. However, stormwater drainage plans should be required for each property once the residents and driveways are known at the time of building. Department of Health and Environment came back and said that If this minor subdivision has no commercial applications, there are no requirements from them. And as for my department, we do approve, or we feel that it is appropriate with the contingencies to permit, for access permit for Lot 2 until development and for the drainage reports.
So those would be contingencies and not waivers,
Contingencies, yes.
not the access.
Not if you're deferring the access permit. They have to record the plat to get a building permit.
Okay. So how would that be worded then?
Defer the access.
To just
permit
defer?
building permit to
Okay.
development.
Okay. So they would both be deferrals then, with the stormwater as well? Okay,
Yeah,
all
when
right,
they have a building site.
okay, thank you. All right, questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So you're saying that Planning Commission recommended that the drainage be on the plat, and you're requesting that the access not be on the plat?
No, so specifically, there needs to be some control on when that happens. And so the plat and the notes on there refer to the drainage report being required at the time of building.
Right.
That'd be the only way for you guys to take care of that and police that through. And so we're just putting a note on the plat that at the time of building, a drainage report is required. That way, everybody's covered and it can be followed through for all the reviews. And
Right,
everything.
and then the access permit is typical with the building permit anyway, so.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Anything else from you?
No,
Commissioner Grantham? It looks pretty straightforward to me. So, yeah, this is one of those that tends to sail through after a few questions here because it's already been pretty thoroughly vetted, not only by county staff, but also by our wonderful planning commission here in Fremont County. So the chair is ready to accept a motion.
so with this, Ms. Jackson, then, is it a deferral of the access and the drainage?
It's a plat note that says
Yeah.
that they're both deferred to the time of development and will be required at that time. So you can't sell the lot.
Okay.
You can't sell the lot until the plat is recorded. And if it's a contingency, the plat can't be
Can't be
recorded. So it becomes a note on the plat, and we catch it at building permit.
All right, ready for a motion, Madam Chair?
Yes.
I move to approve minor subdivision 21-008, DJW subdivision. It is a minor subdivision which will create 2 lots located in the agricultural rural zone district on R Street in Penrose with a deferral of the access permit and building, and drainage study until building development.
And
On-
it's a note on
And that's a note on the plat,
On Lot 2.
on Lot 2, because Lot 1 already contains it.
Second.
the. Are you sure?
Well, yeah.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve minor subdivision 21-008, the DJW subdivision request. So this will include a plat note deferring both the access permit and the stormwater study on Lot 2 until the time of building. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
Matt.
Matt.
We do have a public hearing coming up, but before we get there, we're a couple of minutes early, so let's go on with resolution number 6. This will be approving precinct boundaries and numbers for Fremont County, Colorado. And for this important piece of information, we turn to our Fremont County Clerk and Recorder, Justin Grantham. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. A few years ago, Amendment Y and Z was passed by the citizens of Colorado, which created an independent commission of 12 citizens to redraw both the congressional and the state legislative districts. Because of this and the census, the Clerk and Recorder's Election Division is required to update our maps and our legal descriptions and our precinct numbers to match those redistricting. Once all the districting had been completed and approved by the courts, we actually changed our congressional, state senate, and state house districts. So what's being approved today by you guys, if you decide to approve it, will be more or less the actual numbers of the precinct, not necessarily the boundaries of the precinct. So at first, we were in Congressional District 5 with the 5th Congressional District, and we're going to the 7th Congressional District. For the state Senate district, we were in Senate District 2. We're going to Senate District 4. And Fremont County was actually split for the last 10 years between House District 60 and House District 47. Now we will be completely House District 60. So those are the first sets of numbers on the map that will be recorded. And actually, there's a key on the map, but I thought I'd mention it here that when it comes to precinct numbers, it's not just the last 3 digits, it's actually the entire set, so it's a 10-digit code. The first digit is actually the congressional district number. The second and third have to do with the Senate district. The fourth and fifth have to deal with the House district. The sixth and seventh number have to do with the county assigned number. And then the last 3 digits are actually the precinct number itself. So that's what is before you guys. If the public or anybody wants more information on the redistricting for the congressional and state district maps, the website is www.redistricting.colorado.gov. And for the updates on the Fremont County precincts and precinct numbers, that'll be at the county's website at fremontco.com under the election division's webpage. With this, it's also a resolution and a map that I actually have in my office, since it's a big map, to be signed. So.
We do have a copy of that map, so thank you for that. But to see anything at all, I did have to explode it. Yes. It had to be blown up very, very large. This resolution itself includes about 22 pages, I believe, of legal description.
Yes.
It was riveting reading, I can tell you that. I do believe you had some help putting all of this together from Fremont County GIS.
So yes, the GIS department put these legal descriptions together 10 years ago with Keith Berry and Bob Bush. Like I said, the legal descriptions haven't changed because none of the boundaries have changed, but they did help us create a new map, which also indicates if you're seeing on the screen, if Sonny, you'll move it to the bottom left-hand corner. The bottom left-hand corner has a key for how you read the precincts, and at the top, there's a color-coded key, which actually indicates the active number of voters in those precincts, because that's the requirement at the beginning of census, since laws changed last year. We don't have to change any district lines or precinct lines until that number doubles again. Our hope is, because we're short-staffed this year, hopefully next year when the commissioner districts are redone, we'll tag on the precinct changes as well. That's the intent. But overall, I want to thank the GIS department and the election division for all their work in this, because it is not an easy task following those legal descriptions. So
There is a lot of detailed work here, so
Yes.
I just also wanted to make sure we give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Gentlemen, discussion?
And for those that, like pay attention to the redistricting and reapportionment, stuff like that, every 10 years, we're not talking about total population, because these things are, the numbers that we have here we're just given active voters in this information. And we don't have to have like within a 5% or even population in each precinct.
No, so how that works is we're able to have up to 1,500 active voters inside of a precinct, unless the Board of County Commissioners actually approve up to 2,000 inside of a precinct. And like I said, last year, the rules changed for census that whatever it is in 2021, unless it doubles, you don't have to redraw your precincts again. And we don't see that happening, but like I said, we'll probably try to truncate and get rid of some of our precincts, and some of those numbers, if you can see, are well below 500.
But if we do an overhaul of these precincts, that won't be until 2031, or?
Right, if we were to wait until the statutory requirement, yes.
Okay. Because there are some that are like in the 400 or 500, 200 range.
Yes,
And then some that are in the 1,800 range right now.
correct.
However, as you said, some may change when we do the commissioner districts, possibly?
Yes, the intent
Yeah.
is to try and get rid of some of the precincts since they are small and active voters. That way we can kind of consolidate our numbers across, and then we wouldn't have to do the precincting again until 2031.
So bottom line, like you said, this is just for the numbering of the precincts.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And commissioner redistricting should happen next year in 2023, is that correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Other questions?
Nope.
Motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve resolution number 6, approving the precinct boundaries and numbers for Fremont County, Colorado.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve Resolution Number 6, approving precinct boundaries and numbers for Fremont County, Colorado, as described in the resolution itself. Also, the map that is available in the county clerk's office. If anyone would like to take a look, you can absolutely go there and do that. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
The hour has reached and passed by a couple of minutes. 10 o'clock, we have a public hearing scheduled for this morning. This is for Special Forces Motorcycle Club Incorporated, requesting approval of a special events permit for malt, Venice, and spirituous liquor for an event at the Pathfinder Park Event Center located at 6655 Highway 115 in Florence on February 4th from 5 to 11 p.m. And we have with us this morning Representative Brent Vendel. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
All right. You want to just talk us through this a little bit? Tell us what you're planning, what you're going to do?
Absolutely. So the Friends of the NRA are running an event at the new Pioneer Park Rec Center. They've asked us to come in and do the liquor license portion of that. So I represent Special Forces Motorcycle Club. We've done these multiple times in the past, usually do about 15 plus a year. Not for the NRA. This is our second time. So we've run them in Pueblo, Florence, and so on. So what we would be doing is we're providing bartender, security for the doors, ID checks, and so on. So we're just simply doing the liquor portion for the Friends of the NRA. The NRA is doing the rest of the event. So we just come in and basically do the liquor portion.
Which is the portion we are concerned with here today as
Absolutely.
well.
Yep.
So, all right, good to
So
know.
process is there. Everybody gets checked IDs. If they wanted to have drinks, they will get a band. And then we have one location located at where the bar is and a bartender. And then we have our guys, my guys, Special Forces MC guys, who are working the entrances and exits, making sure that no liquor is leaving the premises that we already pre-planned for the zoning of that liquor.
And Brent, can you talk to us a little bit about training for your staff, how
So
they've
the
been trained,
all
especially the
bartenders,
service staff?
Bartending, or the one bartender. Now
Okay.
we're adding multiple for fall-on plans in case someone gets sick, which kind of happened recently. So they will all be tip certified with the state, and they'll have their tip certifications with me. So
All right, thank you. Questions for Brent at this time?
No, ma'am.
Nope.
All right, let's turn to a staff report. We have with us this morning Talia Smith from the Fremont County Clerk's Office. Good morning.
Good morning. So we received the application on January 5th, which did not meet the county's 45-day guideline, but the application was able to be completely reviewed by the county attorney and the investigation reports completed by the sheriff's office and health department. Both departments recommend approval. And the applicant also submitted a proof of posting, which was posted at least 10 days before the hearing. If this is approved today, the applicant will meet the state's 10-day notification period.
All right, thank you. Questions for Talia?
Nope.
All right, so this would be our first official event at Pathfinder Park. So we're expecting really great things to happen out there.
Madam Chair,
No pressure.
no,
did you want to open the public
just
hearing?
tables and chairs.
Oh, yes, we're going to do that, yeah, okay. All right, this is a public hearing, so let's open the public hearing at this time, and we'll see if there's anyone in our audience who would like to stand to speak about this proposal, either for or against. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at this time. And gentlemen, further discussion?
No, but I've got a
Questions?
motion if you're ready.
A motion? Indeed, we are.
Kind of excited because it is the first event at
It is
the
exciting,
Pathfinder Event
yes.
Center. So thank you for helping these guys get this going. So I move to approve the Special Forces Motorcycle Club special events permit for malt, Venice and spirituous liquor for an event at Pathfinder Park Event Center at 6655 Highway 115 in Florence on February 4th. The event will be from 5 to 11:30 p.m.
And second, I echo your sentiments, Commissioner McFall. This is exciting, and I think it's wildly appropriate that it's the Friends of the NRA that are starting us off.
And Special Forces motorcycle.
But wildly appropriate does not mean it's going to be a wild party. Just I'm verifying. Yes. All right.
Go ahead.
Yes, go right ahead.
I was going to say too, just for public, it is also a fundraiser for the NRA and the 4-H Youth Shooting Club. So a lot of the money and the money we actually make too gets donated back towards that. So.
All right, and understanding you are not responsible for the entire event, but do you have information on tickets still being available and how folks might be? No, okay, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yep.
It's okay.
You can find them online.
All right, perfect. All right, we
Have a motion.
do have a motion and a second. I was just making sure we had the second. But
We do.
There was a lead up to that second. So, okay, we do have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this Special Forces Motorcycle Club special events permit for malt, vinous, and spirituous liquor for event at Pathfinder Park. New event center on February 4th from 5 to 11:30 p.m. Further discussion?
Yeah, I'll just note that I think anybody wants information can find it online, but you can also check with Linda at Mantiques in Florence. She's one that's
All
helping
right,
put
good.
this together.
Thank you.
so.
I think they'll appreciate that. So, also folks who are trying to find information. All right. Anything further? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Thanks so much
Thanks,
for
Brent.
being
Thank you
here.
very
and
much. Thank you.
Good luck with that event. Okay, back to new business. Item 3, resolution number 7, approving assignment of Fremont County Airport land lease for hangar number 22 from Edward and Cindy Herman to Edward Herman. And we're going to turn to County Manager Sunny again.
Yes, thank you. So we did receive paperwork indicating that the individuals had a separation agreement in place, and Edward Herman did receive the airport lease as part of that separation agreement. And so this is coming before the commissioners to do an assignment of that lease from the two of them combined to just Edward Herman.
And everything is in order for this, Sunny?
Yes, Brenda has reviewed, or Ms. Jackson has reviewed everything, and it looks good, and she has prepared the resolution, so.
All right, thank you. Questions, gentlemen?
I have a motion.
Motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve resolution number 7, approving the assignment of Fremont County Airport land lease for hangar number 22 from Edward and Cindy Herman to Edward Herman.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 7, approving the assignment of a Fremont County Airport land lease for hangar number 22 from Edward and Cindy Herman to Mr. Edward Herman alone. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 4, resolution number 8 is another, excuse me, assignment of a Fremont County Airport land lease. This one is for hangar number 27 from Grant Schemmel and Tom Schilf to Grant Schemmel and Susan Gebhardt. We turn again to Sunny.
Yes, thank you. And so we did receive documentation indicating that Grant Schemmel and Susan Gebhardt had purchased out the interest of Tom Schilf. And so we received all of that paperwork. Ms. Jackson has reviewed it and has prepared the resolution for that, the assignment of that lease as well.
All right, thank you. Questions, comments?
I have a motion.
Motion.
I move to approve resolution number 8, approving the assignment of Fremont County Airport land lease for hangar number 27 from Grant Schemmel and Tom Schiff to Grant Schemmel and Susan Gebhardt.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 8, approving the reassignment of Fremont County Airport lease hangar number 27 from Grant Schemmel and Tom Schilf to Grant Schemmel and Susan Gebhardt. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, and with that, we're up to item number 5, establishing a grant program with the American Rescue Plan Act funding. This is a really exciting time right now. We have been talking for a few months now about the possibilities and things we may be able to do with some of the American Rescue Plan Act funding that Fremont County has received. So once again, we are turning to Sunny for an explanation.
Yes, thank you. And as Commissioner Bell indicated, our grants administrator, Rachel Miller, for all of the work she's put into this. So the commissioners have allocated at this point a percentage of the funds. So they're looking at a $500,000 allocation of those funds to go towards this grant program. And so this grant is open to businesses that have lost revenue. It's open to businesses that have incurred expenses. It's open to nonprofits, organizations for the same, schools, kind of the whole organization list that we had included in the CARES Act funds. We've tweaked the grant application and the regulations and are opening this up for another round through these American Rescue Plan Act funds. And so if this is approved, we will get all of that finalized, get it posted onto the website, get it posted on social media, and just really try to spread the word out. We did have a survey opened when we had received the funds to try to get public input on that, on how these funds could best help our community, and there were quite a few of those survey results that indicated the burden that's been placed on businesses, nonprofits, and other organizations, both from the revenue loss side and then the expense burden. And so we're really hopeful that these funds can be used for those organizations. We'll review applications as they come in. Currently, the deadline is set for the end of February to review those. And so if there are still funds available, we can look at having another grant application. So I would highly encourage you, if you're an organization that thinks you could benefit from this, please review the documentation that we're putting out and get your information submitted very quickly, and we'll start that review process.
Thank you, Sunny. I would add to that, this is really not a competitive grant process. It's not something that's going to go to a handful of folks. That we do have plenty of funding for this, we believe, at this point in time. So either you will qualify or you will not, to make it pretty simple. So I just also encourage everyone to help spread the word. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. When you go into your local stores, talk to folks and ask them if they've heard about the county grant program for this. So, comments, discussion?
I have a comment. I just want to add that, not that I agree with federal government giving all this money out, but they have. And if we don't use it, it'll go back and somebody else will use it. So we want to use it the best we can, but we want everybody to know, being very transparent, that we received this money from the federal government. It is to help businesses and nonprofits and organizations that did have a downfall during COVID. I think every county in the nation, as well as most municipalities, receive some form of money, some amount of money. And we just want to use it to help the community regain what they may have lost or the hits that they took because of COVID. So we did have that survey out there. There was a lot of great suggestions that came in from that. There were some that were not allowable suggestions. We waited, we've had the money 9 months now, 10 months now, but we were waiting because we were waiting for the final rule from the Treasury. They had an interim rule out which we could operate under, but in order to make sure that we did everything correctly and spent the money as allowed by the United States Treasury, we waited till the final rule came out, which came out a week or so ago. And that way we know that if we do allocate some money for something and it is spent, that the Treasury can't come back and say, nope, that's not an allowable expense, and charge the county back for it. So we're being very diligent in the way we do this, and hopefully we can help, like I say, the community organizations as much as possible that took a hit from COVID.
Thank you for that.
And just to clarify, I guess, with Sunny, this is going to all be on the website, and the applications and information and everything will be easily findable on the website.
Yes, if this is approved, we will get it finalized and get it posted on the home page of the website, and then get it shared on social media as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
And if someone does not have access, of course, they can come into county offices and we'll print off whatever materials and information they need to be able to do this. We want this to be open and available to everyone. A note from what Commissioner Mclaughlin was talking about, waiting for the final rules to be able to open up these kinds of programs. We got a little bit wary, I would believe, after the CARES Act funding came through, because we were also very, very careful with that spend, and it's a really good thing we were. We ended up being selected or chosen for a full audit of our CARES Act spending, and it took months and so much time of not only Sunny, but our entire financial team. It took such an incredibly long time to go through that process. Of course, everything we had done was on the up and up. They found no problems. They just wanted more explanations, more paperwork, more copies of things she had already sent them a dozen times or more. And it almost felt like it was never ending. So having gone through that process, we understand how incredibly important it is to do this the right way, and to have all of that paperwork to back up everything that we do. So Sunny, again, thank you for all the work on this, and also thank you to Rachel Miller, our grant writer. She's done an excellent job with this. All right, the chair is ready to accept a motion.
Madam Chair, I would move that we approve resolution number 9, establishing a grant program with American Rescue Plan Act funding.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 9, establishing this grant program with American Rescue Plan Act funding. And it truly is our hope that we can help all of those struggling businesses in Fremont County that need help right now. So inside city limits, outside city limits, doesn't matter, you're all Fremont County, so please apply. All right, further discussion?
One quick note, those that did answer the survey with the suggestions, that was not an application, so you will now have to go back and fill out the application for the grant. So thank you.
Good point.
Excellent point. Also, those who did receive CARES Act funding, you also are eligible to receive the American Rescue Plan Act funding as well.
No duplicate reimbursement.
Right, as long as you didn't get paid for that same thing the first time.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, are we done?
We're
All
done.
right, let's have roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, moving on. Item 6, resolution number 10 this morning is amending the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Chapter 6, Working Conditions. We have with us this morning Fremont County's newish Human Resources Director, Robert Traynor. So Robert, we were going to turn to you if you will please come on up
Good morning.
and tell us what you have for us. Good morning.
Good morning. This policy is just an addition to the current personnel policies. We've had many requests for departments that would like to have the ability for employees to work outside the department because of the current situation with COVID, just different types of things where the employees are needing to work outside the departments. This just allows the department to establish some rules and guidelines regarding that work so that people aren't abusing that we're not getting a situation where, you know, that it creates a problem within the department. Again, all departments aren't eligible for this. This is something that would be specific. This outlines that so that every department, you're not going to have somebody that wouldn't be eligible for this, that the department says, you know, hey, this position is not available for that type of work. This just provides those guidelines and allows those departments to schedule that, especially since we have situations where we have departments that are understaffed. Quite a few the departments are understaffed. And this allows them to continue to utilize the employees that they do have to do and produce work products from a different location. So if there are any questions, that's basically what the policy change would do. And like I said, it provides those guidelines and helps those departments out define those positions and how they go about doing that.
All right, thank you, Robert. One note I would make is this is a very restrictive policy. This is not a policy basically saying anyone can just work from home and let us know that you're doing that and it's fine. There are a lot of rules, a lot of regulations that apply. Prior approval is going to be necessary. So it is quite a lengthy process to be able to enjoy the benefit of being able to telecommute and to work from home. So it will be applicable in some instances. It will not be applicable in others. So thanks for taking this on. It was probably quite the chore.
Well, thank you.
Gentlemen?
I
Questions?
would, just adding to that, you said that not every department's eligible, and of the departments that are eligible, not necessarily every employee in that eligible department is eligible because of particular jobs and stuff. Is that a fair way to put that? I mean,
That is correct. And again, it's going to be up to the departments to actually define which jobs are eligible and which employees are eligible. You could have some employees, again, if you can't monitor the work product that they're producing, that won't be eligible. So you could actually have a similar position that still may not be eligible, even though it's in the same department, so
Right.
it would be specific.
But even then, that would still come through your office for approval on those.
That is correct. We
Yeah.
would get approval from the department head, our office, as well as and the county manager as well would have that approval. So it would be, and it would be monitored. We would
Right.
keep track of that and be able to provide reports on exactly who is doing the telework and how it stacks up with other departments.
It adds a tool to our toolbox to be able to continue to function in every department and every aspect, but it's not a free-for-all, as Commissioner Bell mentioned.
Yes, yes. I also would note the effective date of this would be immediately if this board chooses to approve this new policy. All right, ready for a motion?
I have a motion. Robert, first of all, thank you for working with a couple of department heads to work through this policy and get it before us today. Thank you for that. Madam Chair, I move to approve resolution number 10, which amends the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policy and Procedures Manual, Chapter 6, and it would include teleworking for Fremont County employees under work conditions.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 10 to amend the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual in Chapter 6, Working Conditions, and this is to add conditions for Fremont County folks to be able to telework from home. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we have 3 items remaining. These should go rather quickly. These are all appointments or reappointments for folks, and I will just say right up front, we do have letters recommending appointment or seeking appointment or reappointment for all of these folks. So the first item, number 7, is reappointment of Chris Mclaughlin to the Fremont County Tourism Council for a term that will end on December 31st of 2024. Chris is with Desert Reef LLC. I believe he just finished his first term, but I think his first term was not a full term. I'm
Right.
pretty sure he
Correct.
stepped in
He was
to,
appointed into one, right?
yeah, to step in and fulfill someone else's term.
So, Madam Chair, I would move, and actually, just to follow up on those comments, yeah, Chris was added to fill a vacancy and the term that ended just this last December. And he's been a great addition to the council and has a lot of things to add. And so I wholeheartedly support his reappointment for a full term. And I move for the reappointment of Chris Mclaughlin to the Fremont County Tourism Council for a term ending December 31, 2024.
Second.
All right, thank you for those notes. I appreciate that because Commissioner Grantham is the commissioner liaison to the Tourism Council, so he should know best. So, all right, it has been moved and seconded to reappoint Chris Mclaughlin to the Fremont County Tourism Council for a term that will end on December 31st, 2024. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Up next is the reappointment of Jane Traynor to the Penrose Community Library District Board of Trustees for a term ending December 31st, 2026.
Madam Chair, this is a reappointment and suggested by the Penrose Community Library District to reappoint Jane Traynor, to the Board of Trustees, term ending December 31st, 2026 for Penrose Library District.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to reappoint Jane Traynor to the Penrose Community Library District Board of Trustees for a term that will end on December 31st, 2026. I will note library districts are a little bit different. Their terms are generally longer than what the Fremont County boards are appointed to. So this one actually does run through 2026. All right, further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the final item on our agenda today is the appointment of Jana Dixon to the John C. Fremont Library Board of Trustees, which is in Florence, for a term ending December 31st of 2025.
Madam Chair, I move for the appointment of Janet Dixon to the John C. Fremont Library Board of Trustees for a term ending December 31, 2025.
We'll second that with a note that it's filling a term of a person that resigned.
And again, this is a recommendation coming from the library district itself. So, all right. It has been moved and seconded to appoint Jana Dixon to the John C. Fremont Library Board of Trustees for the term ending December 31st, 2025. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham. Aye. Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And there being no further business to come before this board, we are adjourned.